Biden asks Congress for gas tax excursion to lower report pump expenses. Washington. U.S. President Joe Biden on Wednesday known as for a 3-month suspension of the federal gas tax to fight file fees. However, competition from lawmakers inside his very own festivity indicates the request might also by no means be met. American families paying tons more for fuel deserve a few monetary alleviation, Biden said as he driven Congress to behave, whilst commenting that a suspension of the 18.4 cents according to gallon tax changed into not enough. I fully recognize that a gas tax holiday on my own isn't going to repair the problem. However, it's going to provide families a few immediate alleviation, just a little bit of breathing room, as we retain working on bringing down prices for the lengthy haul, Biden said. The president additionally entreated states to quickly drop nation gasoline taxes, which can be frequently higher than federal charges. He is likewise asking main oil companies to suggest ideas on how to convey lower back-idled refining capacity once they meet with Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm on Thursday. Biden and his advisors face growing strain to act as record-high fuel fees and typical inflation weigh on the president's opinion ballot ratings and cast doubt on Democrats' probabilities of keeping congressional power in November 8 elections. The administration says the main causes of high expenditures are the effect of Russia's invasion of Ukraine in February and oil corporations reaping sky-high earnings as gasoline demand rises with the worst of the COVID-19 pandemic seemingly over. Oil organizations whinge that Biden's management is unfairly vilifying the enterprise. A fuel tax vacation is not going to lower average inflation prices, some economists mentioned, and will threaten to undermine Biden's clean energy and infrastructure goals. A suspension of the 18.4 cents in step with gallon federal gas tax and 24.4-cent diesel tax could require congressional motion. Lawmakers in both parties have expressed resistance to suspending the tax. Some Democrats, which include House of Representatives Speaker Nancy Pelosi, fear oil corporations and stores can also pocket an awful lot of the financial savings. We will see in which the consensus lies on a direction forward for the president's notion in the House and the Senate, Pelosi said in an surprisingly lukewarm statement approximately a White House action. Peter DeFazio, a Democrat who chairs the House Committee on Transportation and Infrastructure, mentioned a federal gasoline tax holiday might offer minuscule relief and burn up wished infrastructure budget. Energy Secretary Granholm told reporters a communication is ongoing with Capitol Hill. She mentioned she would use an assembly with oil agencies on Thursday to press them for solutions approximately what may be executed to increase the deliver and lower the value of gasoline, as well as to make sure that they would bypass fuel tax savings onto consumers. Biden requested Congress to drop the fuel tax through September to relieve expenditures all through the USA summertime riding season. The flow will cost the Highway Trust Fund roughly $10 billion in foregone revenue, but may be made up from different areas of finances as tax sales grow and deficits decrease rising from the pandemic. Some states, consisting of New York and Connecticut, have already paused state gasoline taxes, even as others have floated thoughts together with patron rebates and direct relief. Refiners are suffering to fulfill global call for diesel and gasoline, exacerbating high expenditures and nerve-wracking shortages. Pausing the federal gasoline tax will sincerely provide near-term remedy for U.S. drivers, but it won't remedy the basis of the problem: the imbalance in deliver and demand for petroleum merchandise, a spokesperson for the American Fuel and Petrochemical Manufacturers Enterprise Organization stated. Longer-term policies are nevertheless needed to increase U.S. electricity production, it stated. U.S. pump costs are averaging near $5 a gallon as hovering demand for motor fuels coincides with the lack of about 1 million barrel in step with day of processing ability. In the ultimate 3 years many flora were closed when gas call for cratered at the height of the pandemic. Biden mentioned he understands the politics round Republicans seizing on high gasoline expenditures beforehand of the elections, but he requested his opponents whether they alternatively would have selected no longer to guide Ukraine. So for all the ones Republicans in Congress criticizing me nowadays for high fuel expenses in America, are you now pronouncing we have been wrong to support Ukraine? Are you saying we had been incorrect to arise to Putin? Are you saying that we'd instead have lower gas expenses in America and Putin's iron fist in Europe? I do not agree with that, Biden stated.